Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm having kind of a hard day here with even a week, like where my plan is very unclear what I need to do. I have loads of things to do. I have exactly 10 weeks now until my move, and there are, I can't start getting rid of furniture yet because I'm moving to less than half the space, so I have to get rid of a lot of things. But my daughter is going to come home over Easter and check out maybe if she and her friends want to take some stuff, so I can't start the process yet. And it's kind of like, I'm not quite really sure what to do today. I'm kind of walking from room to room with slight anxiety. Maybe you're familiar with this feeling. And I just thought, I'll just make a video and I'll feel better. Then at least I've done something. Another thing that I do sometimes to kind of get rid of this problem is to like clean out a drawer of odds and ends, or I organize something. I'll hang a load of wash, just kind of get going and just get off my butt and do something. But today's video I thought would be about, I'll tell you a little bit about our perfume meetup yesterday. It was great fun, and I'll tell you what I kind of got rid of and what I acquired, a few things. And then I would like to share with you just like a few really good fragrances I've been trying lately, that I don't have bottles of, but that would I recommend them. I'll kind of tell you as I go along, because some of them are quite pricey. And that's always an important factor, I think, to mention. I think a lot of other reviewers kind of forget about that part because maybe they've been gifted this bottle and of course they recommend it, but would they spend their own money is the question. Already having, say, hundreds of perfume bottles, probably not, right? And I'm happy to report that my collection now is 44 full-size bottles. That's like 30 ml or more. And then I have I've maybe increased a little bit on travel size and minis. Maybe I have like 30 by now, maybe a little over 30. And then I have like 100 decants and probably 7 or 8 discovery sets. And this is kind of the way I've really been wanting to go, because it just makes more sense. It takes time for me to even go through 2 ml, since I'm constantly testing things, to not only because I want to share it with you guys, because I really enjoy the journey, the exploration and all that. Okay, so just over the perfume meetup, there were 12 of us from the perfume community, and then I had also invited a few people kind of on the side that came. Someone brought her husband, and then I have like a new friend from Ukraine that I was matched with through this organization called kind of like Friends Sweden, and it's for kind of newcomers to Sweden to get to know us as a population. And I was matched with this woman who's 40. Her name is Svetlana, and we just had one lunch before this, but it was really interesting to meet her. We really hit it off. We had so many things in common. She's into spirituality as well, just like I am, like yoga and meditation, and we had so much to talk about there. She likes to dance, so do I. And I just kind of invited her because I thought, I could introduce her to some people here. And she just felt that I opened a whole new world for her. So that was really fun to hear. And then I had another kind of normal person come, one of my ordinary friends. And she left after half the time, which was, I thought she stuck it out for a long time, because we really go deep. I mean, if you don't have a frame of reference, you can't really follow. There's just too much going on. But it's a social event. I always have so much fun at my meetups. And I finally got rid of my bottle of musk ambergris from Affinissance. It's kind of a really musky, salty, it has an overdose of ambergris. So if you like that, it just feels like it's all, they call this specific collection the base note collection. And they're all based around one is called Santal Basmati. It's all around the note of sandalwood. This one is just really, it smells a little bit like, I've talked to you about it before. It smells a little bit like unwashed hair. And my friend Clara says it smells like a homeless person. But I put the price like way down. A new bottle is like $200, like 200 euros, something like that. And I sort of gave it away for $15. But I don't need it, and I don't use it. I've only used it like lately for layering. And it does kind of give a fragrance. I wore it together with Honor Woman one day and got a huge compliment. So it does do something for the background of the fragrance. It gives a nice base. So that was one thing I got rid of. And then I got rid of my discovery set from Le Bain Gerbois. If you haven't seen that video, I did a house review. It's my latest video. And there was not really any fragrance there that I feel like I need to keep wearing out of the sample. Like, I will probably look around for a bottle of 1978 if I can find one at a good price. Is that my phone? I'm sorry, I'm going to turn that off. And I liked Roxotonic, 2018 Roxotonic, and I also liked, there was one more. Oh, I liked the 1979 New Wave, but that one had the longevity. I was struggling with the longevity, and the performance was just not good. So I was happy to get rid of that, and I also let go of travel size of Oud from Roja. And instead I got, sorry, I have something in my mouth. Excuse me. I got now 4 new discovery sets. One of them is Pont des Arts, a French house I don't know much about. Théo Cabanel, I'm really interested in that house. Le Jardin Retrouvé, I'm not sure that is my house, but it'll be interesting to go through them, you know, at my own pace, kind of, because they have them at the shop now in Stockholm, and I was kind of sniffing, just getting first impressions, and I find them very floral, kind of hothouse type floral, a little bit vintagey, perhaps. I'm not sure it's like my house, like that's not where I want to go, but they have a really nice travel size. So if you're into this kind of thing, it might be worth checking out. It's a really old niche house, and they sell their fragrances in 15 mils, which is a nice size. And the other discovery set was Laurent Pasaglia, I think. Yeah, that was one. Did I mention 2 or 3 or 4 now? I might have forgotten one. No, I think those were the 4. Didn't I say them? Théo Cabanel, Pont des Arts, Le Jardin Retrouvé, and then there was one more. What was it? Laurent Pasaglia. I think I said them all. Okay, whatever. I'm glad that I could rotate some fragrances anyway and get rid of 1 full bottle, so that was good. So I'm now down to 44, so I'm really happy about that, because it's a constant, you know, try to fight the urge of buying and acquiring more fragrance. Then I got some decants that I really, really, like I got a little, a small size of Tonka Lavande. I'm gonna mention that one as I get there, because I have a lot of good fragrances to talk about. One of the ones that I've liked the most lately that I've tried, I might have mentioned it, but now I've worn it a few more times. It's called Apothéose from Oriza Legrand. This is a fantastic fragrance. It's so, so good. Try to get your nose on it if you can, and I think also the price point is good. I'm not quite sure what the price point is, but I think they only have them in 100, which is unfortunate. I only have like 3 mil, and I'm just going to be enjoying these drops so much. It's powdery, it's aldehydic, it's soapy, it's laundry-like, but in the best possible way. It reminds a little bit of like a Chanel fragrance, like maybe Comète, the newest one, what they were kind of trying to do. If someone had said this was the new Chanel, I would have believed them. This smells like a really good Chanel. Powdery, maybe there's a little bit of fruit in there, just a speck perhaps. Maybe some base notes like Tonka. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember the notes. I mean, maybe I have it written down. I'm going to go back and tell you, because this one really is worth mentioning. Apothéose. That's how it's spelled. Apothe with a hyphen over the E. Apothéose. So, so darn good. I'm going to see. I'm going to go back in my notes and tell you just a little bit about the notes. There was something in there that I kind of found... it didn't quite match up to the notes, I thought. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here they are. They're not anything what I told you. The top has eucalyptus and pepper. The mid is rose and ylang-ylang and jasmine. And the base, musk and benzoin. So, like, nothing really special that sticks out except maybe the eucalyptus. I'm not quite sure what's giving that soapy quality. Let's see what I wrote when I actually wore it. Very special. Soapy, aldehydic, powdery, but also warm and comforting. It has a French perfumery vibe, and I like it. It would be a Chanel. I can't see what I've written. My handwriting is not that great. Okay, it makes me think of one section of Guidance from Amouage. You know, Guidance is kind of like they've thrown together like different kind of accords, and there's one powdery French layer, and there's also like a fruity gourmand layer, and there's like a really modern Quentin Biche type layer. And this is kind of like the best part of Guidance. The rest I sort of couldn't handle. It also reminds me maybe a speck of L'Impératrice Sissi from Nicolas de Berry. That one you might not have heard of. It's not much spoken about. It gives me kind of violet, iris, heliotrope type notes and aldehydes. Definitely aldehydic, definitely. I said I would have guessed notes like the ones listed in Metallic by Tom Ford. Aldehydes, pink pepper, hawthorn, lily of the valley, vanillas, ambrette. I can't see what Peru balsam and sandalwood, maybe. Metallic doesn't smell like that though. I've gotten rid of Metallic. I thought Metallic finally was too loud for me. Okay, so I want to mention a few more like really, really good fragrances. Mimosa Gold is really good. I finally acquired a bottle of that, a small bottle. Really beautiful mimosa with a little bit of honey, almond blossom. I find this very unique. No other similar fragrances come to mind. It's not super loud. It's really good. I think I'll do a house overview of Exaltatum, where it's from. It's called Mimosa Gold, or Gold Mimosa. No, I think it's called Mimosa Gold. Super, super nice. I really, really like that fragrance. I think I talked about Exquisite Embroidery from YSL already. It's also really, really good. And then I've kept wearing Kind of Blue that I acquired at our last meetup by Xerjoff, and I've really, really been enjoying that fragrance. It's kind of like, I can't quite, place it like anywhere. It's also slightly aldehydic, it's a little bit soapy, it's a little bit like a house candle or like a fragrance candle. It smells a little bit like when you walk into a nice gift shop, kind of. And it has some florals. I really enjoy it, and I've gotten several compliments. And I also gave a decant to a friend, and she says it's her new favorite. That's Kind of Blue by Xerjoff. It's from the Join the Collection, the blue bottles. Oh, and then Au Coeur from Thomas de Monaco is also a new favorite. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance, which I don't think the notes quite... Here it says it's like an osmanthus fragrance with rose. It has a lot of rose, but it's not a rose fragrance to my nose. It's really, really nice. I have been wearing... I've worn it like twice, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta get back to this. It's so darn good. But then I've been on to the next thing. That one is really, really good. And then I think I've already mentioned the Pearl. I've acquired a bottle of that by Norrland. It's a Swedish brand. It's described as a floral woody musk, but I find it's kind of a nice, fresh, clean laundry type scent. Slightly sweetened and a little bit bridal. Reminds me of a fragrance called Ravenna. And it also reminds me of the fragrance White by Weedian. Then I've tried, I'm only going to mention the ones I think are really good. I have some other things to talk about, but I think I'll save them for another video. This is supposed to be a recommendations video, like the best things that I've tried lately. Okay, I have to say that Salt Caramel, I actually have a bottle of that. I didn't bring out my bottles now, by Shay and Blue, has really grown on me. It opens up like popcorn, like festival kind of like amusement popcorn, with that kind of fake buttery smell. But then it has like sea salt, tonka, sandalwood. It dries down really, really nice. And I think maybe tonka is rising to the top of like favorite notes. It's really, really good. Let's see. Oh, River Walk from Exaltatum is also really, really nice. It's chrysanthemum and other florals. I can't tell you in depth about that. I can't really quite remember it. I just wrote that I really, really liked it. Oh, this is a fragrance that I got to know kind of well lately that's really, really good from a house that's so far has been unfamiliar to me. It's called Thameen, the house. Thameen. I think it's, oh yeah, it's from the UK. I've written here. And it's called Peacock Throne. And it does remind of a Black Orchid from Tom Ford, but it's way, way better. So it has like a patchouli base. It's rose, patchouli. It has ylang ylang, jasmine, and then the top lemon and pink pepper and nutmeg. I wore it, it's an X-rated Parfum, it's very concentrated, and I wore it driving down to southern Sweden. I was in the car for 7 hours, and I had this the whole way, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I kind of, I think that's such a good way to get to know fragrance, like you spend time when you're not really doing anything else and really paying attention. This is a really, really good fragrance. Peacock Throne. And I mean, if you have Tom Ford's or Black Orchid, I haven't tried them side by side, but I do remember, I mean, I'm talking about the dry down of Black Orchid, because I really, really hate the opening of Black Orchid, and I remember always hating Black Orchid when it came out. Now I think I could probably pull it off if I could get through the dry down. I also have another fragrance that reminds of this, and it's called Maremma from I mean, I have a decant of it. It's called Maremma, and it's from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. That's also really, really good. Can recommend. I mean, these are pricey fragrances, so I mean, bear that in mind. Okay, and then I have 2 fragrances from Puredistance, from this Discovery set that I acquired a while back, and I'll mention them kind of together because they're both so good. One is called Rubikona, and Rubikona I wore on the way back from southern Sweden, and I wore it for a long time, and I was like a little bit on the fence, like there's something disturbing in there, but kind of perfumes need that to be interesting. And it has like all these florals in the middle. It's created by Cecile Sorokian, because she's kind of been a favorite of mine. It has these citruses in the top, and then it has, let's see, it does have clove in the mid with all these flowers, iris, rose, orange blossom, and ylang ylang. And then it has a really nice base with solar notes, patchouli, musk, vanilla, and cedar. And I've written here, I can't decide if I love it or hate it. It has an 80s vibe, and it's modern at the same time. But I finally realized it was a love. It's yellow and fluffy, sweet floral tones. Yeah, it's that clove. I've written about the clove. I would not buy it because of the price. But there's a place here in Sweden, I don't know if you can buy from it, it's called Excentica, like E-S-C, Indica, Indica with the C. And they sell decants that are almost priced per milliliter, or like per volume unit, at very, very close to the original bottle price. So I'm thinking their bottles must be really expensive. So I might actually get myself like a bigger decant from there. I mean, for $50, I could probably get, a little over $50, I could get like a 10 ml decant of this. It's really, really good. And then I've written here, I wouldn't have been surprised if it had had some cherry or amaretto or almond. It's heavy, it's musty, it's dusty, and a malic opening, if I remember right. I'm looking forward to wearing this again. It's really, really good. And the other fragrance that I want to recommend from the house is called Sheiduna. It's a beautiful, I'm thinking it's a Cecile Sorokian as well. Sheiduna is similar to Epic Woman, but so much better and so much easier to wear because it has that incense note, but it also has like rose and so many other things going on. So Sheiduna, Rubicona are definitely my favorites from Puredistance. Love them. Let's see, what else do I want to recommend? Oh, this is also really good from Thomas de Monaco, Solgado. It's a fluffy kind of laundry-like fragrance. Not so much a beach fragrance to my nose. It has linden blossom and mimosa, cotton flower, so you can imagine, like, and heliotrope, so like fluffy notes. And then ambergris salt, and then a base of vanilla, musk, sandalwood, and smoke. It's a little bit like the Pearl from Norrland that I mentioned, but this one has more depth and heavier base notes. But I haven't checked into the price of Thomas de Monaco. I think it's fairly pricey. So definitely the Pearl from Norrland is a really big deal for the money. Let's see what else I want to recommend. I have a new bottle of Safari that's vintage, and that I can really recommend. I mean, I love that. I've been through bottles of that. I'm so glad to get hold of a bottle. It's a little bit like Chypre Palatin. It's a vintage, and it dries down beautifully. I love that. Oh, speaking of that type of fragrance, I want to recommend also Melograno from Santa Maria Novella. So good. This is such a beautiful Chypre I might do a house overview because I've been through the whole house, or I mean their whole discovery set. I think it was like 8 fragrances. And this was by far my favorite. I'll actually check for you which one was my favorite, because this was just, I've started a new book here. And here's my overview of Santa Maria Novella. My top fragrance from there was Melograno. It came out in 1965. It's so good. It's powdery. It's described as woody, mossy, earthy, but I don't agree. I don't think it's, at least not in a bad way. It's more floral to me. And it has pomegranate, which I cannot pick up at all, but it's really, really beautiful. I love that. My number 2 is actually the tobacco fragrance, Tabacco Toscano, that came out in 2008. It's a beautiful wear, very, very soft tobacco. Seems a little on the quiet side. It's not like I would go out and buy it or anything, but that was my second favorite. And then there are 2 rose fragrances that came in 3rd place, both of them. Rosa Novella and Rosa Gardenia. Really, really pretty fragrances. Not sure if they're like interesting enough to actually purchase bottles, but this is a pretty good priced house. I think you get a lot for your money. Okay, what else do I want to mention? Let's see what I've tried lately. I did try for the first time Ylop from Soradora, and it's really not my style. It's like an osmanthus tea fragrance, like with roasted apricot and sesame, but there's something about it that really makes me go, ooh, I think it's really good. Ylop by Soradora, but I haven't really worn it properly yet. I've just kind of sniffed it on my hand. And then I want to also mention, although I haven't mentioned it before, Capri from 1969, which is a beautiful fragrance with different orange notes. And it also has like all these other interesting notes in there. It's a freshie, but it's more than a freshie. It's really so darn good. By the House 1969. That was Capri. And then there are many that I've tried that I don't recommend. I'll just mention real quick also Funky Cherry. My friend said it was like super loud. This is a not yet launched fragrance from Musicology, and it's an extrait. So it's a little bit more potent than their other things. And I have worn it quite a few times, and I don't find it so potent as my friend said it would be. She said it like I had to even go out on her balcony to be able to spray it, because she said that it just hangs around and never goes away. I find it really nice. It does smell like shampoo at first, like really boring, or like cherry soda or something, or like candy. But then it like, I don't know anything about the notes. I'm really, really curious to find out about the notes, but I've really enjoyed this fragrance, Funky Cherry. So that's, maybe there will be a cherry fragrance added to my collection, but I did do a side-by-side with Sirene, you know, from Fragrance du Bois, and I decided that Fragrance du Bois' fragrance is better. It has oud in it, and it has more of it goes in a different direction. And maybe the cherry is not as potent as in Funky Cherry. So I think if I had to choose between those two, definitely Sirene would be the one. I'm going to see if I had any more here to recommend. The Sheiduna, that was there. I think I got them all now, the ones that I wanted to mention. And then, of course, 1978 Le Bain Douche from Le Bain Gerbois, as I mentioned in my last video. So these are my recommendations of lately. I'm trying to think if I missed one, but if I did miss them, I will bring them up in a video coming up really soon. Okay? Okay, guys, that's all for now.